What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm your host, as always, Rashid White. All right, so Kevin Durant and Charles Barkley is at it again. I'm not going into the whole history of it. I mean, that would be boring as F, you know what, man. But, basically, Charles made some comments and KD actually gets back at him. And I love what Kevin Durant is actually saying over here. And what Kevin Durant is actually saying is real. And this is a problem with a lot of, old guys like Charles Barkley, and that's the problem. Now, sometimes living in the past is actually a good thing. I mean, I know the world, and in some cases was a lot better back then. But sometimes you actually have to evolve. Let's listen to what KD actually had to say.
Opinion on us. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't on no bus. Like, I feel like the only reason why that even kept traction because that was about me specifically. If that was about any other player, that wouldn't even have hit like that. You know what I'm saying? But Charles Barkley said that about me, and like I said, disrespecting my game is a part of the storyline. You know what I'm saying? So like that's gonna hit for my storyline more than anything. But like, who's even looking at the game that way? Like, that's how Charles Barkley looked at the game, and that's probably why he didn't get what he wanted, because he thought it was all about being a bus driver when we all sitting on a bus together. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's funny from my vantage point that it's you guys have developed this relationship.
That's crazy.
And I don't think there's beef. I don't think there's actual beef.
I wouldn't call it beef. I just think he's just mad opinionated, and he feel as though like that's his job to be mad opinionated in a negative way against players. Like, I feel like he feels that the job requires him to, nitpick and look at just the negative in the players. I'm not saying you should only talk about the positive either, but like when you clearly show bias that you're trying to take away from what these players have done, then it just look corny on his part. Like, you're a legend in the game. Like, we respect what you've done, and like when you start trying to tear people apart for what they did in different ways and trying to basically bully people because you're in the media, like, it's just corny to me. But it is what it is. It's a part of the storyline.
And now you're on the team. He went to the finals with.
He's a fucking legend that I got nothing but respect for, and I look up. I'm gonna play with pride, knowing that he put blood, sweat, and tears into this organization. So that ain't got nothing to do with how he is as an analyst. Though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't agree with how he approached the game as a Hall of Famer, and how his game as an analyst. I don't really with your approach. So.
Yeah, basically, he's not an analyst. That's the problem, Kevin Durant. He's not an analyst. He's just someone who actually gives his opinion. He's someone that's actually stuck back in the old days. He actually thinks that, oh, this is the 80s basketball. It's actually 1990s basketball when the game is totally different. So he's referring basically, I believe, to like when Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. And understand that they needed Kevin Durant. It's not like he needed them. The only reason why Golden State won the championship is because what's his name? Kevin Durant. I'm sorry, Kyrie Irving. Kevin Love was actually out. If you actually look at Game 1 of that series, they almost won Game 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and there was some shenanigans with the referees, and they should have game 1. They would win the next 2 games, and this, thus you actually know what actually happens. They actually going on to win the championship right there. But again, that was because the two players between Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. Kevin Love was an all-star or all-star caliber player, and then there's Kyrie Irving, who was an all-star and should be a Hall of Fame player. I don't know if people's actually going to get him in there, but because of Kyrie's antics. But and listen, for the people who actually say, "Oh, injuries don't matter," yes, it does. If you actually going out there, you're playing billiards, you're getting your ass kicked, and your opponent scratches on the 8 ball, then you don't go just beating your chest and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm nicer than you, I'm better than you" in billiards or pool, basically. You won by default, damn near. So Steph Curry cannot carry a team. He just can't. He can't. He showed that multiple times. He imploded the following year when Kyrie Love and Kevin Love was back. They shut him down. Um, going far in the play. I mean, he's not like a superstar athlete or anything like that. So he got fatigued, he got worn out, and Klay Thompson is not a high percentage like one-on-one type player. I mean, he's not a guy that can break you down in 3-4 dribbles, get to the rim, finish on you. I mean, what got Klay Thompson into the NBA is his ability to catch and shoot. That's what makes Klay great. And you put the ball on the floor and ask Klay to make some plays. Now, maybe he got better at it, but I'm talking about back then. That wasn't Klay back then. So it's hard to do it with one high percentage one-on-one player. You usually kind of need two. And you had Kyrie Irving and LeBron. And then you think Kevin Love was basically a role player. He got reduced down to a role player. And it was pretty even, between Kyrie and Steph as your two best players. And he was the best player, Kevin Durant in that series. My mind is like just going crazy today. So again, with Charles Barkley, I certainly do agree. He, like I said, he's an old guy, and a lot of these old guys are stuck in their ways, and he thinks this is 1980s basketball. I did multiple videos on this when it comes to the load management and his opinions, and just not really understanding today's game, and probably mad that I don't think he can actually play in today's game. I don't think he could just do it. He won't be able to do it. It's a cardio game. Back when he played, it was more about power, physicality. You didn't have stretch bigs that can shoot and put the ball on the floor. The fact that you got to close out harder on the 3-point shooters, that puts more wear and tear on the extremities there, lower extremities. So he just doesn't understand that, man. He's just an old guy with an opinion. That's all he is, an opinion. Opinionist, not an analyst. So, like, comment, subscribe. Certainly share this video. When we share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Peace.